Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building tonight, Walter Couture. I got the good doctor, Candace Matthews, on her way from Austin, stirring up good trouble. I got the queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. Say they pimping behind the pulpit. And tonight, we finna go into their houses. Let me see how they go. Get your seatbelt. It's gonna be good. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. You know, want to apologize for my good friend tonight, Donovan Siddiqui. He playing Mr. Handyman. He on something top of one of his neighbor's roofs, and they getting it in right now. I guess they trying to do like Bill Cosby, try to fix something, and don't have the expertise. So we'll figure it out once the roof cave in. But I tell you what, man, the news, we're getting closer and closer to the South Lawn takeover. I called in the city hall today. They had a city council meeting and told them people we need to push our differences aside and be like the Temptations. This is exactly what I told them. I say, man, Otis didn't like David Ruffin, but they learned how to sing together. So we got to squash our beef, and we got to go up in South Lawn, and we need to do what we need to do. I even told the mayor, you need to do what you did at Crestmont Village over there in South Park. Shut that motherfucker down. That's what you need to do. But I didn't cuss. I was kind of nice today because, you know, I'm fresh out the hospital. I want to thank everybody for all the well wishes. Procedure went pretty good. We probably got one more procedure to do, and then I can be finished with them kidney stones. But I tell you what, man, I'm going to turn this over to Demetra. Donovan ain't here with the news, so we might hear a little bit about Joe Biden, but tonight we ain't talking about Biden. We talking about some of your favorite pastors. Now, I asked a question on Facebook today. All I did was put up a picture of Joel Osteen's house. That's all I did, and I told the people, if you go to his church, put up a picture of your house. I never got a picture, but I got all kind of excuses for why God said that Osteen can live in that house. Well, I want y'all to know something today. I wasn't talking to Joel Osteen. I was talking to y'all. And you refuse to put your house up there. So tonight we're going to put your pastors' houses up there. And we're going to show you where your pastors live compared to where you live. And I want you to tell me if you live by the same laws in the Bible as your pastors, because you don't seem to have the money to live like he lived, but he living off your money. Demetra, what's going on, my friend?
So, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night edition of the War Zone. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Yeah, and I was actually looking at the comment thread because I haven't really been on Facebook all day, and I see you have over 200 comments, or 300 comments, rather, over 300 comments of people commenting on your post where you, like you said, put up Joel Osteen's house and then said put a picture up of your house. And so a lot of people didn't quite like your post. So we're actually going to get into it. And Gary, you actually going to take the lead on this. I'm just putting up pictures, and, you know, I'm going to be working behind the scenes because I don't want to get struck by lightning. I'm going to let you, Candace and Walter, have that.
Well, it's going to strike me because I'm going to tell you right now that I don't read the slave manual. I don't read your Bible. I know it, but I ain't got time to be sitting there reading it. It's too many versions of it. It's just too many versions. Hold on. I don't want that. It's too many versions of it. You know, back when I was a little kid and I used to sneak off in my uncle's bathroom and look under the sink, and I pulled out the Playboy magazine, there was only one version. When I go to church, there's 40 to 50 versions of the Bible. So, you know, I'm looking in there, and I don't know what hit me today. I just saw a picture of Joel Osteen's house, and I just posted it. Show me a picture of your house if you go to his church. And like you say, over 300 comments, but not one picture of a member's house. And it took us places. It's amazing how you can say one thing and it just take you to a million different places. I never said nothing bad about him. I didn't say nothing when he wouldn't open the church and was letting Negroes drown during the flood. I didn't say none of that. All I asked y'all to do was put up a picture of his house. So, I mean, I had my friend do some research for me, and some of your favorite pastors, they live in shacks. They live in little bitty shacks. So, Demetra, whose house is this? TD.
That's TD Jakes.
Damn, that's a little bitty house. That look bigger than his church. So how many of y'all go to TD Jakes' house and your house look like his? Is he preaching from the Bible? God definitely let him multiply off of your money. Can you show me another house? Let's see what we got next. She gonna show us another house because it's different pictures. Hold on, that was TD Jakes' house, and the pastor looked like he doing real good. That motherfucker almost big as Tyler Perry whole movie complex. Let's see who's next.
That is Creflo Dollar.
That motherfucker look like the airport. That look like the airport right there. Who we got next? That's Creflo Dollar's house. Whose house is that?
That whole thing is Benny Hinn's house. That whole everything you see is his house.
That's one dude, right?
Yeah.
Or is that his whole family?
I mean,
generational.
I don't know, but it belongs to him.
Give me another one. Show me something else, man. Show me something else. Mute your mic for me, young man. You're on two different channels. Okay, there we go. Let's look at this one. Now, whose house is this?
That's Kenneth Copeland.
But God has been good to him. Look at that, man. And now, I want you to think about where you live compared to where they live.
It said that he is the wealthiest evangelist or pastor. They say he's worth between $350 to $700 million.
We got any more pictures?
Yeah, I have one more.
Show me another.
That is Joyce Myers.
Wow. Now, do you have the picture that started all the controversy today?
I don't have it, but I can get it. One moment.
Yeah, get it for me. What I'm showing y'all is where some of the most prominent pastors, mega pastors in the country, showing you how they live. While you still on the bus, Section 8, and they giving you bottles of water whenever something happens. We're going to pull up one. We're going to pull up this last one, and we're going to let you see, and then we're going to get off into this thing. We're going to get off into this thing. Let's see what she come up with next. This is what started everything right here. And then I'm going to get into it. You know, I'm going to get into it. This is what started all the controversy. Today I put up this picture, and this is Joel Osteen's house. And he preaches prosperity gospel. I mean, he ain't teaching you nothing from the Bible. He making up some shit as he goes. But this is where he lives. So all I asked you to do was put up a picture of your house if you were a member. Okay, we're going to take that down. Let me see. Something ain't right about this. Something ain't right about it. I mean, I love the Lord, but he ain't heard my cry. Say, man, something ain't right about this here. I'm going to start with Walter because he's the money man. How does this happen where the pastor lives in a mega mansion and the congregation is living at the shelter?
You want my honest answer? You want me to dumb it down for the middle? All right.
I don't want you to dumb it down. Give it to us raw.
Here's the problem with most leaders. The leaders normally have the biggest house. If you look at Tony Robbins, anybody that Tyler Perry, whoever it is, they always have the biggest house because if they're a true leader, they're doing what they're telling the people do. And I've only seen Joe Osteen a few times. I actually met him once in Ontario when he did a function here. And I know when I walked into the lobby he had books, and he was selling everything. So when you look at, I don't know why he needs a house that big, and I try not to count other people's money, but I just think that a lot of leaders like this one, I think if the congregation took his advice, and I mean took his advice because he does talk about prosperity, I think they could have something nice. I don't know if they could have something this nice, but like, I know Joel Osteen is a money man. He sells books. He does shit all over the world. And when you have, and I know he used the church to do it. So I know that's kind of a weird feeling to go, he's using the Lord's name, but like, entertainers do this. One of your people on your post said entertainers do this all the time. We have celebrities, rappers, people who aren't even doing, saving souls or trying to make people do better. We have people that are saying, shake that hoe, who got houses bigger than this. So I think, back to the original question, is leaders tend to have the biggest houses. And two, isn't religion and entertainment? I mean, do we really go to church and think that God is going to change our lives? Or are we going there for mental uplifting?
The good doctor. What's your opinion?
My opinion is this. I grew up in the church and all of that stuff. My papa was a pastor and everything. My papa, when anniversary time used to come, papa used to get a whole bunch of money on that table. You know what I mean? I'm a little kid seeing papa got money like dope money. So my thing is that who's zooming who? Right? Because now I know that you're supposed to pay your tithes, give things to God, your 10% of your earnings or whatever. But you can do that not just giving to the church. You can do that by giving your time. You can do that by donating and everything. But my thing is, when a person get in trouble, because I put a post like that the other day, when the pastor telling you, you know what, put everything in the hands of the Lord, put your light bill and your water bill in the name of the Lord. And then when your water and your light get cut off, then, Pastor, where you at? Because I need you to dig in that love offering so I can go ahead and get my light bill and water bill paid for. See, my thing is this. When you taking money from folk, utilize that money to help people who are in need. You understand what I'm saying? You may have members that don't know when their next meal is coming from. You may have members that don't know where they're going to be able to lay their head. So my question is, what are you doing actually? Then, like you have Gary Monroe was in the hospital today. Pastor, I need to see you. I need you to pray for me right quick. You probably don't even know who I am. You know what my doggone tithe number is, though, don't
I'm
you?
gonna tell you something. There's a whole bunch of pastors out there. When they saw me in the hospital, they that was like, how they have a bidding war when you're a rapper, a young rapper trying to get a thing. They were having a bidding war. Which one of us can bear this nigga so he can shut up? I already know what the deal was with me being in the hospital with some of these pastors. But I got a question for you, Demetri. You always hearing people tell you, why y'all counting their money? Don't count the pastor money. Well, he count our money after church service on Sunday. So why we can't count this money? What you got to say about that?
I think it's all about perspective. Are we counting the pastor's money? Are we counting the church's money? And then where is the pastor getting his money from? Because, back in the day, a lot of pastors had a job too. But pastor nowadays, they don't have a job necessarily. I guess their job is pastoring. And, in the Bible, it does say that pastors should be paid And the church should take care of the pastor. So that is biblical. But I think it's a problem when the pastor is taken care of. And as Candace was saying, the congregation is not. We know a lot of people can't go to the church and say, hey, my light's about to get cut off. Or remember last week when you was telling everybody to sow a seed of faith? Well, my seed ain't blossomed, so I'm going to need some money. And the church will say, well, sister, we don't have it. The benevolent fund is kind of low right now, so I just guess it's, whose money are you watching? But I think too, people in the church shouldn't be afraid to ask the pastor or whoever is on the accounting department, hey, what y'all doing with the money? Can we see, the books? But a lot of people are afraid to do that because they think the ground is going to swallow them whole if they ask.
So I heard today through the comments, if you get an opportunity to go back and look at them, some people were saying, well, it's justified. Church is a business. Okay, if it's a business, why they don't pay taxes on their business? Maybe it's time for them to start paying taxes since it's a business. Because if it's a church, do you know how much money we would get into the economy if churches paid taxes? Because they're not helping the community. The smaller churches tend to help the community more than the mega churches. And that's something that I know because I've been working with small church pastors for a long time. And they tend to help the community far more than a mega church. But is it a building of worship or is it a building of business? Because if it's a building of business, then they should be paying taxes. Walter, you got something to say on that?
Yeah, and I think most people think about and churches and charities, they have it confused. Churches don't pay taxes, but as a pastor,
your connection is kind of messed up, Walter. I don't know where you're going.
I'll give you an idea.
Walter? Your connection is messed up, so I don't know if you might need.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, but we can't hear you. You're frozen.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. When it comes to taxes, the church, the organization, doesn't pay tax. But when they pay the pastor and the people that work there, they're supposed to pay tax. You know what I'm saying? Like the Girl Scouts, I'll give you a case in point. The Girl Scouts is a nonprofit organization. But I saw a thing on the news where their CEO was rolling around in a private jet making this huge salary. But she pays tax on her check. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's how it works. And I hear like this whole nonprofit thing. Yeah, they're supposed to donate the money. So no, they don't pay tax on it. But as a pastor, if you're taking like I used to go to Harvest Church, and Greg Lowry, who's like done major stuff all over the world, he made $292,000 from the church. His stuff was taxable. And then, people say, well, damn, why does he make $300,000? Do you guys know that a superintendent at a school in California makes almost $400,000? And look at the kids. So the point I'm making is the money he gets should be taxable, but the other money is supposed to go and help the people. And then the other thing, if you go into a church and you sitting up there and he's like, oh, put your last dollar in the bucket, and you a dumbass. I mean, like, what does the Bible say about taking care of yourself? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, stop putting and also, what about money for you? Doesn't the Bible talk about saving for a rainy day?
Don't the Bible also talk about
I went to a church and the pastor.
I said, don't the Bible?
I don't know. I don't read the Bible that much, but I'm assuming.
So, good doctor, here's a question. Are they pastors or are they scam artists?
I'm going to say they pimps that sells hope.
Say it again.
Pimps that sell hope. Because now, don't get me wrong, not all pastors are like that. Because you actually do have some good pastors who are actually about saving souls and making sure people reach the destination where they need to be, and then also have programs, have things in order for people who's not able to make it. But these jokers that's just running around here, give, love offer, give me this, give me that, you ain't nothing but a pimp selling hope.
Well, I tell you what, man, I'm going to tell you what made me just shook on. I went to one church and we had to give for the pastor's anniversary. Then we had to give for the first lady's anniversary. Then we had to give for the anniversary of the church. Then we had to give for the kid's birthday. Then we had to come back, and I'm like, hold on, man. Man, I gave you my whole goddamn check. But I go over there one time, I'm doing bad. Say, man, I need like $300 in my light bill. Oh, well, we're going to have to run this through the committee. And man, it's like 100 degrees out there. Can you do this today? Oh, we don't meet until the third Saturday in the month. This the first Saturday.
But
So
wait a
you
minute.
telling me I got to wait 2 weeks? Man, fuck y'all. I go get my relationship with God somewhere else.
But wait a minute, let me ask you this. Did you have to wait through a committee when you gave your money in that tithe offering? Did you have to go through a committee then?
Hell no. And do they go through a committee when they at the casino with your money?
Huh. Now look here. Now look here. Now let me go ahead and put it on out there. Cause I think we would go to the casino and I would look, I say, don't I know who this pastor is? He dead and gone now. But I'm like, he sure a bad motherfucker on that crap table. I'm wondering if he got that money for selling hope with folk last week. You understand what I'm saying? Then I'm on that Clefo dollar over here with the private jets and all this other kind of stuff. What you need all that for? Like, I don't understand. Like, they taking church from what it really supposed to be, and you're making it a business. And that's not what the church's supposed to be. And yeah, and any one of y'all pastors watching this shit, I'm talking about your ass, because you run around here selling hope to folk. You run around here and thinking that you are entitled to people hard-earned money in the name of the Lord. And I'm going to tell you right now, let me find out you in that church and not doing nothing for folks. I'm going to do a press conference in front of your damn church.
Well, you're going to run out of days of doing press conferences, because if you in Houston, there's a whole bunch of them. So what? Let me interpret this for y'all that's out there. What she said was, if she catch you at the crap table with the dice in your hand, talking about, Jesus, I need a new pair of shoes, right before you throw them with the church's money, we going to fuck up the church's money. So a church, nowadays, these churches ain't nothing but hoe houses. They selling pussy in the back of the church. They doing everything except you got to buy your way into heaven in some of these churches, man. And I'm just amazed that one simple picture made everybody go somewhere totally different than what I was asking. You know, is it fair that your pastor lives like this while you're living, barely making it, but every week you go into the church and giving them this money, but in the community we don't see them doing nothing? Why the pastors ain't raising hell about the violence in Southeast Houston, Northwest Houston? You know why? Because they make money off funerals. And as long as them funerals can come through them churches, they're going to make some money. Demetri?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a way to look at it. But in regards to like the jets and stuff like that, I saw Joel Osteen, I think it was on Larry King one time, and he was talking about the airplanes. And he says, well, we need the jets because we travel from different countries, and it's hard to do having to book tickets with different airlines. So it's easier, to have our own private jet. At least that's the explanation he gave. And I guess it's plausible, right? But again,
but let me tell you something. Every time that you pull that private jet off a private airstrip, that's 20 racks. One way. And I know that for a fact because I've just got off a private jet with George Floyd baby mama there. And that's 20 racks.
Yes, it's expensive, because I also remember Creflo Dollar when he was talking about he needed the new airplane because he had one already, but he needed, oh gosh, I forget how much the doggone plane was. But they were talking about how much it costs just to fuel the doggone thing is really expensive. And so, I mean, I'm one of those people, I don't necessarily have a problem with pastors having nice things. I'm more so one of the ones that have a problem with them having nice things and the congregation is struggling, but that's not necessarily the pastor's fault, even though the word says that they are, called to a higher standard and they're supposed to be over the flock and all of that. But it also tells the congregation to, read the Bible, study to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth, which means that you are also supposed to be reading the Bible and, you know, reading for what it says for you to do. And it also says, do not throw your pearls before the swine. So that could be open to a whole lot of interpretation. So if you're throwing your money to a church that's not helping you in your time of need, that might be you throwing your pearl before the swine, right? Because the church is really supposed to be there to be of service. Jesus was, you know, a servant. He wasn't, even though people likened him to a king, he was still a servant. But I get perplexed when a lot of these pastors don't act as a servant. They are like being served. So it's just, to me, it's just how you look at it.
Well, I'm confused. You know, I don't really read the slave manual. And didn't Jesus ride a donkey?
Well, he rode a donkey, but then what was the equivalent of a donkey back then? It might have been a Mercedes. It might have been
it was a donkey. It was a straight up jackass. It was a donkey.
Well,
so if Jesus can ride a donkey,
well, let me ask
why do Ivy Hilliard need a helicopter?
Well, let me ask you this, Gary. Did Jesus wear Gucci glasses?
No.
Did Jesus drive in a Phantom?
No.
So what kind of stuff is going on here?
I'm just trying to figure it out. Jesus rode a donkey. But these clowns need helicopters. Ivy Hilliard needed a helicopter. Am I right, Candace? He had a helicopter, didn't he?
Yeah.
He ain't all over the world. So you need a helicopter to go from your neighborhood to the Rockets game? What do you need a helicopter for? Man, these people taking your money and they balling out the gym. John, what's his name?
Gray.
What are you doing with your money? That man got a trick bill so high it's unreal. That man out here tricking on thoughts. But I guess the thoughts got to get to heaven too. Walt.
Really quickly, it says that a donkey back in the days of Jesus was the equivalent of royalty. So it might have been the equivalent of a Rolls Royce.
Well, I think they need to get them an old school Rolls Royce then. They all need some motherfucking donkeys. Because they making an ass out of people.
I'm glad you brought up the donkey because I got into it on social media over it. I know I've personally ridden on donkeys in Europe, and they're huge, and they are what am I trying to say? They are considered luxurious animals. So back in the days, the fact that he had a donkey means that he had, somebody had some money around him. And I don't know where it says in the Bible that Jesus was poor. Again, like I said, I don't read enough of the Bible to know what his money situation was, but I know he, according to the word, he talked about it once in a while. So again, you guys, this whole thing with pastors and having money, like my thing is if the pastor's making money from another area, then fine. I don't have a problem with that. If Joe Osteen makes $100 million a year selling books, that's his deal. I have no issue with that whatsoever. It's when a pastor is taking the money from the church and the people aren't being served, then I have a problem with that. And I can tell you guys, I'm going to take the other side of it. I've met Joe Osteen once. I bought one of his books that helped save my relationship that was on the rocks, the relationship I'm still in. I took money advice from Joe Osteen, and I've used that to make myself richer. I used to get up and listen to his, his morning thing and listen to his jokes. And so I actually am one of the people that heard his word and took what he said to do. I did it, and it saved my relationship, and it helped me make more money. So I think if more people took what he was saying and actually did it, instead of just going there for hoopla, then I think they would do better. Again, if he's sucking money from the church, and that's wrong, right? But the question we need to ask is, do they do outreach? Do they donate money to the homeless? Do they help people? I mean, they have a $70 million budget. Is that money going to help people? That's what we should be asking.
It depends on the people that you're talking about, because a whole bunch of them donate to politicians.
Oops.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know everything about Joe Osteen. I know for a fact that he runs a legitimate business in personal development, and he sells millions of books worldwide. And there are a lot of people on the planet that give him credit for saving their life mentally, physically, and financially. So I always look to see, is this person helping somebody? Like, I'll give you an idea. Last night, I watched Medea, The Big Happy Family, and I watched that play 4 or 5 times a week before I go to bed. Because I, believe it or not, I get something from watching the play. He's dropping advice. And so I'm like, I don't mind buying the CDs and all these movies and stuff because I get something from it. Can that not be the same with your Joel Osteen or somebody like that?
So is he a pastor? Is he a counselor? Because he runs a church. You
He's
don't pay taxes because you run a church. So if he's a counselor, then maybe he should be paying taxes.
No, he does pay taxes. He pays. See, I think people get nonprofits confused. You pay taxes on your income inside of a nonprofit. If I work for a nonprofit, I pay taxes, period. And if they're not, they're breaking the law, period. 100%.
And I kind of concur with him. Like, if you got another business, this what you doing, this is how you making your bread. Hey, I don't have nothing to say about that. But I got something to say about you over here getting money from people who come into your church, who you over here every damn time I'm coming up in there is a building post. Every time it's up in there, it's the love offering. Every time it's up in there, let's do the tithes. Let's do for the close and shut in and all this other kind of stuff. So, and what I find interesting with the close and shut in, when I had one of my relatives was in the close and shut in, I ain't seen that damn pastor come through there, but paid her tithes faithfully. You see what I'm saying? See, that right there is what I got a problem with. I got a problem with when you got children that are in foster care, that you are not providing nothing for them. I got a problem with these jokers that's out for their personal interest, and then they turn around and they get in bed with some of these politicians and they donate to their campaign. Then I turn around and I look at the campaign report and I see that your ass done donated something because you got a hidden agenda in the background. And we got a whole bunch of them out here in Houston with that bullshit. Gary, you choose the name one?
I see a comment from Q John. He said, I even challenge people. I'll give $1,000 to the first person that can show me one scripture where tithes was money.
Well, in Malachi 3:10, it doesn't say money. In fact, it says food. So a lot of people are like, well, what does that exactly mean? It says so to be meat, in the storehouse. So it could be anything, honestly. And I don't see where it says money either. It could be service, time, food, and money, if you wanted to be that. But, I think we just got to realize, too, that the Bible has been, rewritten, and some people just going to say it's been tampered with. So man has been in control of the Bible. I don't go to church. I have studied the Bible. I'll just leave it at that. But, it's open to interpretation. But nowadays it's money, right? I mean, we've even heard of people not being able to get buried in churches behind not being able to pay their tithes. So,
but you wouldn't have a problem with me if the scripture says it can be anything. So if old Monroe show up in church Sunday and put a quarter pounder in the motherfucking collection plate, they wouldn't get mad at me, would they?
You might get a little holy water thrown on you or something.
Oh, you about to get kicked. Now he about to get kicked out is what's finna happen. Because that ain't they prefer the kind that jingles, but they rather have the kind that falls.
Yeah, so I mean, it really can mean anything. But again, I guess logically speaking, you figure there's a church, and with a church there comes expenses, right? You need to pay the mortgage or the rent, the lights, the water, and communion crackers and grape juice, and there's a salary to be paid, whether it's to the pastor and everybody else. So I'm thinking in logical terms, yeah, we're talking about money, right? Because you can't pay a salary with a quarter pounder of cheese. That's not really logical, but and it does say 10%. But is it 10% of money or 10% of time? What is the 10% of? but somehow it's got interpreted to money. But I understand, because like I said, I couldn't go to the light bill and say, well, I'm gonna pay 10% of my love. They're gonna tell me to get out of there. So I think that means money, right?
A lot of people, and I just feel that way just from listening to the conversations, they really think if they pay the 10%, they're gonna pay their way into heaven. And I just have a problem with that, because I don't agree with some of the things that these pastors are doing, and I just don't see the work being done in the community, passing out water and them bullshit ass bags of food y'all been passing out lately. That ain't good enough, man. And a whole bunch of that food y'all been, I just want to let y'all know, because maybe you don't know, Mr. Pastor, a whole bunch of that food you've been passing out to them seniors, them vegetables been old and rotten, man. That shit ain't no good.
Let me take
And then also, don't they get kickback? They get a kickback too for a lot of that stuff, because see, it's all smoke and mirrors with a lot of this crap. Because a lot of this stuff that they turn around and say, oh, this free, this, that, but then you turn around and you getting something on the back end behind this crap. So like, my whole thing is this right here. I don't believe in nobody playing with the Lord. I don't believe in nobody playing with the Lord, and I don't believe in nobody playing with God's people. And you got these jokers that's hiding behind these suits, these Gucci glasses, these phantoms, and they run around here pimping by selling hope. They know everything. And then what y'all think about these churches having ATM machines in the pew?
I don't give a damn what they got in there. They ain't getting no money out of me. Demetri, what you finna say?
I was actually gonna take Kelly's comment. How you doing, Kelly? You say, I'm Catholic and I know nuns get a bad rap, but they take a vow of poverty and do so much for the community. If you were ever at St. Joseph's Hospital, you appreciate nuns. Walter, what does Mother Teresa say about being poor?
The best way to help the poor is not to become one.
And wasn't she a nun?
And she was rich as rich. When I say Mother Teresa was rich, she was rich. And here's the other thing. Mother Teresa.
She said she's Catholic, right?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
She said she was Catholic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And let's talk about these priests that's over here raping these little boys. Let's talk about that.
Well, yes.
That the Vatican don't let nobody touch, because they are actually above the law. But they the one that would chastise these priests, but they won't let a DA get hold to them. Let's talk about that.
Well, that's money. That's cash.
That's nasty.
No, that is nasty, but I'm saying it's cash. Here's what I mean. They are protected. They have the money. By the way, the Vatican is its own city. It's like Indian territory. The Vatican is a sovereign place. They got their own rules, police, everything. Good luck getting up in there. That's a whole nother conversation in another hour. But it goes back to, and Mother Teresa, I don't think, was tickling nuts, right? So those dirty pastors, that's a whole nother conversation.
But the priest was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, don't get me started about Catholic priests. I mean, that's, Lord have mercy. When you tell a man he can't marry a woman or who he love, he gonna tickle some nuts most of the time.
Well, the priests, like, just be honest, man. The priests like little boys, and the pastors like female choir members. Oof. I'm just telling you the truth.
Are they strip club veterans? Cause yeah. Mm-hmm.
I done told y'all why I didn't sit on the front row of the church. I done told y'all that, man, because they praise dancing with no drawers on. I know. I didn't see it.
But then what killed me also is like how they, you have some of these churches that judge people a lot, right? And like my grandma used to always say, you need to sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine, right? And you have some of these pastors that are judge like, oh, you shouldn't be wearing that, sister so-and-so. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that, sister so-and-so. That's the spirit of the devil and all that. But then let's talk about that spirit of lust that you had with Sister Jenkins on that back pew when everybody was gone. Let's talk about that shit. See, I just see through crooked preachers, man. Like, I just see through it, and I just get irritated with them, and I just call their asses out because I know they fake. And that's just how I feel about it. And there's a lot of them on here watching this shit, and I don't care. Because I'll call your ass out if I find you over there at that casino, over there shaking them bones, and you running around here using the church's money to do it.
It ain't hard to find out. I think they just need to go on, and if they really want to get the money out the congregation, like talking about, sacrifice that helicopter and get you a charter bus and just run that motherfucker from the church to the casino, and then back from the casino to the church on a Sunday morning.
I guess Lord have mercy, y'all crazy. I guess the point I was making it with Kelly, with her point was that yes, a lot of nuns and priests, I guess, they take a vow of poverty, but Mother Teresa was in direct opposition of that. She says the best way is to help the poor is not to become one of them. And so for some reason, we think, I don't know, I guess, I don't know where it came from, that people should be poor, but you go to church.
Let me tell you this here. Now, I went to Catholic school, okay? I grew up Catholic. And baby, them nuns over there at Our Mother Mercy living good. You understand? And can make a mean-ass margarita doing a bazaar. So what nun she talking about? Because them nuns over there in Fifth Ward at Our Mother Mercy, them nuns over there at St. Mary's, them nuns over there at St. Francis of Assisi, they living good. Because my mama used to have to come pick me up late because of how she used to work. So I used to go and be in the convent over there eating good, chilling on the couch and watching all the TV shows, and they had everything laid in together now. So they didn't look poor to me.
Well, I know it's a lot of pastors out there glad tonight that we talking about a Joel Osteen or T.D. Jakes, but it's some of y'all right here in Houston. Y'all shooting threes from the parking lot with $100 bills. You think mother don't see? And the community can't get nothing. I want them pastors to step up to the plate when they were trying to put that gang injunction on South Lawn. Where all them pastors at now? Where they at right now? They steady killing over there. Y'all won't even come out and say a prayer at that place no more.
You know why? Because there ain't no cameras there. You got some of them, baby, they like to be in front of the camera. And they like to be in prominent organizations and stuff, and they like to be on boards and stuff. Over here getting money on the back end.
I wanted to go ahead, Walter.
So this has been an issue for decades, right? So maybe we ought to start thinking for ourselves. Like, a lot of people get into pastoring to get paid. Period. The money isn't passing the bucket. So what
and you can have a criminal record to do it. You can have a criminal record to do it because ain't nobody go check your shit. You have a criminal record.
If you have a criminal record, you are better. You have a better chance to become a successful pastor. I used to go to a church called oh my God, it's a huge church, Abundant Living in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Thousands and thousands of people. And the pastor got in my face one time and he goes, "Man, if you knew me 10 years ago, you wouldn't stand so close to me." I was like, damn. So people love that. People love somebody that overcomes stuff. So you're right. I mean, the criminal record puts you in a better position to be a pastor. Maybe I ought to slap a hoe and start a church.
Well, like I told you, pimps, selling hope, baby. Because you got to have a cold mouthpiece to be a pastor. You got to have a cold mouthpiece to swindle people to get money out of their pocket knowing they got to pay their light bill. You got to have a cold mouthpiece.
One of my favorite pastors, obviously I wasn't around, I was young when he was around, was Reverend Ike. You guys heard of Reverend Ike? He is a big not Reverend Ike Turner. A Reverend, he had like a weird name, Ike Tudor or something like that. But he talked about prosperity. And I've listened to him to this day. Al does too. Al loves Reverend Ike. But it's because he was telling people, the congregation, like, y'all believe in a God in the sky. You don't even believe in yourself. He's like, I'm not going to be poor, and neither should you. So he talked and taught his congregation to, you know, the laws of the universe, prosperity thinking that you are just as capable as I am to be driving Rolls Royces and Cadillacs and things like that. And so he is absolutely, well, he's gone now, but absolutely right. It's about what you think. As it says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And so I think, to Walter's point with Joel Osteen, I've never met him or been to his church. I've seen him on TV and stuff, but he does impress upon people to be positive in order to live a better life. And I think that's just really the laws of the universe. And so I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But you guys look up Reverend Knight on YouTube. He's a black man, and he was keeping it real, but he was like, I'm not going to be poor for none of y'all. I don't care what you say.
Well, Jessica Lynn on another page, she say, are they really going to the extreme? He is still doing God's work. Is he not allowed to invest? Is he not allowed or entitled 100-fold blessings? We take how he live in luxury and say he doesn't deserve it. He don't. Not if your congregation is hurt. You telling me the church can't help somebody when they have a problem and they done gave all their hard-earned money to them people all them years? But all of a sudden the church don't have no money? Remember, if they taking care of the pastor, they doing it with the church's money. So why is it that when one of the members get in a bind, you know, you can't help out the congregation? Or if old grandma got sick and can't pay them tithes for 6 months, but been paying them for 40 years and she passed away, why you can't pass her body through the church? No, they pimp it. They don't deserve it. I'm just telling you, it's okay for the church to take care of them, but take care of them in houses like that? No, I'm not feeling it. Candace?
And I concur, because I'm not feeling that either. Because just look at this, y'all. Now you have people that are in your church. They hurting financially. Not all of them, but you have some. But you don't have no programs. You don't have anything to help these people, but except you got your offering open. Now the church that I go to, they don't even ask you for an offering. You know what they do? They have an actual box that's in the front of the church, and it's your choice if you want to put money in now. So my thing is, who's zooming who? Because I'm telling you, I don't play around with these old crooked ass pastors. I blast their ass. I don't care. Because you don't give a damn, because you're going to be the main one going to bust hell wide open. And that's how I feel.
I think at some point in time, we got to hold the congregation responsible. They getting the money from the congregation. You know, I'm not going to be sitting on no bus stop as my pastor riding by in a Bentley, or, you know, he walking by in some $3,000 Gators, and I got some runovers. I'm just not going to do it.
You got to go back to what I was saying. You got a lot of these pastors that got their slick mouth. You understand what I'm saying? In order for you to have that type of mouth to make people come about their money and accept your illusion. You see what I'm saying? You got to have.
I know. I totally get what you're saying, but you know, that's why I know a lot of people, and I'm not saying this about you, Candace. I'm talking about people who go to the church. Yeah. So a lot of people, I know they don't read the Bible, because 2 Timothy 2:15 tells you to read the Bible and study for yourself, rightfully dividing the word of truth. So making sure that the pastor is actually telling you the truth. But most people go to church, don't bring no Bible, they ain't cracked it open. They just take everything the pastor's saying at face value. He can tell them to swing from the chandelier butt naked, and they'll do it if he tell them it's in the Bible, because they'll never look to see if he's telling the truth or not.
Well, you know, I used to sing this song when they were passing around the collection plate. And it'd be coming down, you know how they pass it, one person to the next, Walter, just pass it down. And when it would get to me, I start singing, you ain't getting a goddamn thing, and pass it on to the next person. I ain't got no goddamn money for you this Sunday, man. The light company don't ask for money from me every Sunday. I gave you something on the first Sunday. Make that work all the rest of them Sundays, man. I'll holler at you next month.
Yeah, again, you go to church, you have to figure out if you're getting something from it. And then you donate accordingly. That's it. I don't see people going there to get all, you know, and doing all that stuff. And then at the end of the day, they get home and be like, damn, I didn't give up all my money. You know, be going to a church sometimes like going to a casino. You get all fired up and excited, and it's like, oh, I didn't crapped out. Like, what you should be doing, like, because I have some clients that go to church and be like, oh, I look through their bank accounts and I see tie this. The church is just hitting their account like 2 or 3 times a week. I said, man, you need to start putting some money in your own pocket. Do you know what I'm saying? So we need to look at church for what it is. It's uplifting. It's to get us mentally in a better space. That's it. Like, and stop going to church and thinking, oh, the Lord is going to save me, and the church is going to solve my problem. It's not. It's just there to give you direction. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And let me read this from Jonelle real quick. Jonelle, how you doing? He says, I prayed to God, but nothing happened until I moved my feet. And that was Harriet Tubman. And my father says all the time, prayer ain't worth a damn at a bear meeting. Basically meaning you got to do something. So you could go to church and listen to the pastor, but until you decide to make a move and get your mind situated and making a move toward getting the things you want, nothing will happen. It'll just, like Walter said, you go there and you feel good. And then when you leave, you're like, oh, damn, I done gave all my check to the church. Well, for one, you got to do some work too. And if that's all you got, then don't give it. It's like really common sense, right? You ain't going to hell for taking care of you first. As Walter says, the Bible says, take care of home first, not the church, but home.
Well, we definitely need to take care of home first. Because I'm being honest with you. I see what people saying, but I just see the church making millions and millions of dollars in a poor neighborhood. And one I think everybody got a call. But this one dude, I'm just like, Candace, you listen? One dude sold dope with Harriet. Got caught up. Biggest drug dealer Houston ever saw. Johnny Bonder. All of a sudden, Johnny go to jail, go to penitentiary, come out, and he's Minister Johnny Jeremiah. Y'all think we stupid, huh? These niggeros think we stupid, man. And these politicians, I need some legislation passed, Candace, while you're down there. See if you can put this in the ear of a legislator for the next legislative season. We need to change the law to put at the bottom of utility bills, I pay God already. So that way, when you can't pay your bills, God should take care of that for you. Because the church ain't going to do a goddamn thing for you.
Let me say this too. Jessica, how you doing? You say not every ministry is set up for home. Well, doesn't the Bible say where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst? Where does it say that it needs to be a church building? See, people get that wrong. You think that the work is in the church. The work is not in the church. The work is outside of the church, right? You guys are supposed to, and I say you guys because I don't partake in religion, but you're supposed to go spread the gospel. You're not, of course, you're working on the souls and everything in the church, but it doesn't tell you to go outside of the church and try to spread the gospel and minister to the lost souls so they may be saved and go to heaven. So, I mean, I think that's man's interpretation too. I mean, the Bible, hell, we have a church right here. It's 4 of us here. We talking about God and church. Now, it may not be the way you want it to be, but it's not necessarily in the church. But the Bible does say, take care of your home first.
And you got a one-man choir in this church. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. I just
You
think these people playing
know
with
what?
God. They
And
playing with God, man.
they are. And what about your boy Kirby John? What about Kirby John, Monroe?
He has to really worry about not dropping the soap for 5 years. But ain't nobody got nothing to say about that right now.
Mm. I just thought when that came down, I'm like, wait, the guy wins a village? Like, really? He over here stealing money like Enron? God
And
damn.
you see how fast the congressional circle left him out there by himself? You see how fast the politicians abandoned him and they left him out there by himself? He only served the purpose when he could serve the purpose that they wanted him to serve. So that means you were serving a purpose, Pastor Kirby John. You wasn't serving God.
And let me get this too, Alan. How you doing? You say Pete Game. The church can't speak out on Black issues because they lose funding and 501c3 status. Yeah, that may be true too. But I think they really don't speak out on Black issues because if they actually went out into the community and helped Black people, then it wouldn't be a need for Black people to be in the church as much, right? As Candace said, a lot of churches and pastors, they are pimping hope. And so they get sister so-and-so to come in there. Oh, Lord, I need you to pray for my child. Oh, my child is out there, this, that, and the other, and so they can build off of that. But if they say, okay, sister so-and-so, where is your son? We're going to get him together. We're going like they used to do, right? If they actually went and did that and got into Black issues the way they're supposed to be, then they would solve the problems or try to anyway, and it would be no need for people to come to church as much.
People, this Kelly asked, what about Pastor Lawson? Is he a good guy? I think he's a smart man. See, because in the 60s, when they had the riots, Pastor Lawson cut the deal in the back door. I done said this before. And the deal was, I'm going to go out there and help these Negroes stop rioting. And if I can do that, then you never touch my church. Now, if you look at that block that church is on, they tore everything down around that church except for that church. That church steady building and expanding. What made him so different? He just knew how to cut a backroom deal. So I don't give a fuck if you get mad at me for saying it. Why don't you go ask your pastor?
Alan said, where was the pastor when Dylan Roof shot up the church? I don't know where he was or if he was caught up in that, but I do know that the family members of the people who were murdered, they said, we forgive him. We forgive him, and we don't even want him to have the death penalty.
My thing is, what are these pastors doing with their congregation that got drug problems? What are you doing for them? You know what I mean? Like, these people have real life problems. What are you doing with your members that have psychological issues where they need to be hospitalized? What are you doing about them? What are you doing about the homeless? What are you doing about people that actually have a job, but they trying to make it from paycheck to paycheck because of their circumstances? And what are you doing about them? And then my thing is, what are you doing in that back room with that politician? Who's serving who and who's zooming who?
It's a whole lot of backroom deals being cut. Just like I said, it's a prominent pastor that sits on the Houston Housing Authority board with what's going on in these bad neighborhoods and some of these low-income housing projects. But they ain't trying to fix that. They make money off poor people's demises. And subsidized housing puts a lot of money into politicians and pastors' pockets. So, I get it. I'm not understanding it. I don't know why our people are so goddamn dumb and they blind and they won't open their eyes. These are not the small churches that your grandma and grandpa grew up in. We're not talking about Joel Osteen's father, who had the little church on, over there on the north side, and then, did some great things over there, helped a lot of people. I'm talking about Joel Osteen. I'm talking about the fact you live in a mega mansion, and some of your members are really sleeping at bus stops. And are you really trying to help these people?
Or at least provide jobs for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you got this huge congregation and your church is making this flow the way that it's making, do you have like a re-entry program for people that's just getting out of jail or prison that can't get a 9-to-5 job? Are you providing jobs for them? Are you providing any type of income for people to get on their feet? Then you know what? I respect the pastor that do that. I don't respect these jokers that's just take, so you can run around here and pay your house note, your car notes, your Italian suits and shoes and Gucci glasses and all this old shit.
So let me ask you guys a question, and maybe we could look at it, switch angles for a second. Because I was on your post and I was reading through them, and somebody compared pastors to entertainers. So let me ask you this, because we have our entertainers that live in houses like that. Do you have pastors that give people more value than a rapper or a boxer that is living in a house just as big? Maybe we should look at church for what it is: entertainment and an escape from reality. Because most people that go to church, Black Christians are some of the poorest people in the world. Like, we need to focus on saying, this is entertainment, and then we are going to do our part. Give God the glory, you do the work. Some of y'all waiting for God to do the work. That ain't going to happen. So, and that's why I think a lot of people, even when they go to some churches that get the word that say, hey, go out and do this, go out and start a business, they don't do it because they're waiting on the Lord. I mean, what else could it be?
Yeah. We have been taught to wait on the Lord, and that comes from slavery. Actually, we were taught to wait on the Lord. When you die, you're going to be washed white as snow, and heaven is going to be later. Just endure all this hell now. And so we have just been passed that message into modern day times. I mean, we've all talked to somebody probably within the last 2 weeks that says, well, I'm just going to wait on God. I'm going to wait and see what the Lord says. But the Lord is like, I'm waiting on you. I've given you everything you need. Jeremiah 2:11. He's given us everything we need. And he's saying, you go and do what you're supposed to do. But somehow we got the wires crossed. And again, that message came from slavery. But I think eventually we just need to understand that we are the God that we've been waiting for. Like, seriously, whatever it is you're trying to do, go do it. And that's why I'm perplexed that a lot of people, and Black people, I think, are probably more religious than a lot of people, right? But I'm perplexed that we are so religious and apparently don't read the Bible, but the Bible is giving you instructions. It says, seeking you shall find, asking it should be answered unto you, and knocking, all of that. I got it all messed up, but you guys get the point. And so, are you reading the Bible, or are you like what are you doing? Are you reading it and then you're acting upon it, or are you just listening to the pastor? Like what is going on with the Black church?
You know what? What I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is I'm gonna say two things. One, in my opinion, most Black pastors are the house niggas. And let me say it like this. Number one, who introduced Christianity to Black people? It was the slave master. Yo, nigger, I'm going to slap you, rape your wife, steal your kids, separate your family, but read this book because it say forgive me. Like, think about where the shit came from. Number one, and the true, don't get me started on the whole master complex, but like in slavery, you had the house nigger, and he kept the people calm. The modern Black preacher is to keep the niggers calm. All keep them calm. Yo, show up, Jesse Jackson, and keep the people calm. Come out, Martin. Keep the niggas calm. That's all that shit is. If you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, I mean, like, damn, Christians are some of the poorest people in the world, and they're the first one asking for a handout. Like, damn, go out and take responsibility for your own actions. Period. As far as I'm concerned, Tyler Perry and Joe Osteen are the same two people. They motivate, they get you riled up, and the rest is up to you.
Final thoughts, Candace.
Final thought, everybody. You have been given and born with common sense because bought sense is better than taught sense. If you know damn well your bills are due and that pastor is telling you to pay your money, you better do a priority check and do what's supposed to be done. Don't sit up here and get yourself caught up with the foolishness because I'm telling you now, pastor ain't about to give you a damn thing when you can't pay that bill. Don't get caught up in being sold with hope and all of this other foolishness. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, and when judgment day come, you gonna see who gonna be cast into that lake of fire. And I'm gonna tell you right now, damn sure ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna be watching their ass burn because I'm gonna be like, that's good for you, because you know your ass was doing some dirty ass shit, bitch. Okay, sorry.
Damn.
Final thoughts, Walter.
Again, man, I'm like this. Make sure you take care of yourself. I've sat in churches where they're like, give the money, don't worry about your light bill. That's a fool, but on both sides. The one thing that we do not do, and even when we watch our pastors do it, is we should follow their advice. Like, what are they doing to get all that money? Are they asking people for it? Maybe we should ask for some money. Or Joe Osteen, somebody asked him what book I read. He's got some book where he goes through every day, like a short little poem. I don't know the name of it. When I get home, I can, Jessica, I'll tell you. But we need to take their advice. Go out, start your business, sell some books, period. Like the pastor is no different from the entertainer. They'll get you riled up and then you pay for what you think is worth. As far as waiting on the pastor and the Lord to save you, that's wickedness. That's madness. So until you take care of your own money, and I don't even know why we keep talking about this shit. You make $1, put 20, 30 cents away, and the other 70 cents you deal with. Until we do that, we're going to be broke as hell. I don't care if it's Church of the Satanic or Joe Osteen's church. I'm Mike.
Final thoughts, Demetri.
Look like you in pain, Gary, so I'll be very brief. And I'm gonna just leave with my comment from Kelly. She says, I pray instinctively, but I believe in free will. My daddy taught me that. I make choices and I'm a master of my destiny. The devil isn't the reason why I screw up. I think that is a cop-out, and I absolutely agree with that.
I'm gonna tell y'all, man, use your brain. Use your brain. I didn't want to pick on nobody tonight. I just saw the picture. So I'm pretty sure we'll get some more comments. So remember, I'm running for school board. And we will have a new superintendent. Lone finalists will be chosen this Friday. This is going to be very interesting. To say we lost Lathan, we'll find out where we stand this Friday. And it is what it is. But I appreciate y'all that have donated to the campaign. You guys that send me the well wishes, I love you. Thank you so much. When you're laying in the hospital and you don't know what the hell is going on, sometimes that's motivation enough. Because I got Lord on my side, but I can tell you this here. I know how to handle me when I'm in there. I went in without the COVID, I'm coming out without the COVID. So it is what it is, man. And if $2 Tuesdays, if you want to donate, you see the thing at the bottom, Cash App, Gary Monroe. Any little bit you're seeing helps. And July 12th, we doing the video, the song Make 'em Mad, 6 o'clock p.m. Come on out, have some fun, man. We're going to have a ball. My man, Mr. Scarface, going to be there. Legendary DJ Daryl Scott going to be there, training the likes of Michael Price, DJ Screw, trainee boy. That's who invented all that. So he'll be there. So thank y'all so much for what you do for me as a person, but for this show. And on behalf of Donovan, I know he's not here, but he'll be back. Just keep him in your prayers because hopefully they got a good ladder over there wherever they working on that roof at. Say, man, I want to thank you. You know why we the best in the business. It's a reason. It's the War Zone every night, 7 o'clock. YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank the good doctor, Candace Matthews. My man, Walter Couture. The Queen, Demetri K. And I am the 5-star general. Until tomorrow night, we'll holler at you.